113 and 79 roll here with the complimentary plays on the video report over the past 97 days. Took a split with the 4 picks on Saturday, cashing in with Washington State and Miami of Florida, falling short with Temple and Texas Tech. 3 more plays for this busy Sunday card as I'm going to take a look at the games between the Packers and the Chargers, Steelers and the Cardinals, and the Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. That's coming up in just a moment. I realize most people out there are still talking about the Michigan State finale yesterday. But hey, listen, that's yesterday's news. Although I will tell you that in reviewing, all the box scores from Saturday's card late into the night and looking at all the game wraps from the various beat writers and stuff, I think that is the first college 1A game that ended on a defensive score or a special teams turnover that led to a score since the Alabama-Auburn game. I think that was the last one. Anyway, listen, again, it's yesterday's news. It doesn't mean anything. It's all about the NFL, where the underdogs have been the play so far this season. Each and every week I've been updating you, and here's the deal. The underdogs are 38, 35, and 6 against the spread so far this season, including Thursday night's winner, which I know all too well from a professional and a personal level, especially in my wallet, which is lighter because of the Falcons' failure at New Orleans. And, of course, on Monday night, you know what the Steelers did on the final play of the game. And as I've mentioned to you in the past here on the video report, it's a trend that I started noticing a couple of years ago in the NFL, and it's a trend that I've been updating you on all throughout the season. So, the underdogs are 38, 35, and 6 against the spread, and 28 of those 38 underdogs have won the damn game outright. Now, why is that significant? Because my theory, my hypothesis, shall we say, is this. Based on what I've seen over the past couple of years in the NFL, if you would like to bet on the underdog, and there's significant plus money coming back in return to taking them on a money line play as well as a smaller wager, it might be worth the investment. Again, 28 of the 38 underdogs this season have won the damn game outright. 4 to the 5 on Monday night have won the game outright thanks to the Steelers. Now, everything's cyclical. I'm telling you, it's all cyclical. It always will even out over the long haul. But I still think it's a kind of a significant trend, and it's kind of a cute one to follow throughout the season. Guys, let's talk about a couple of the big featured plays here, and then I want to talk about losing. I know that's strange, right? You're watching the video report to find winners. You expect me to come here and talk about winners all the time. That just ain't the way I roll, guys. I got to talk about losers as well. But first of all, one of my favorite promotions here on the site is when Matt Rivers comes out with a blank check football release. He always says it's balls to the wall time, so what the hell? I'll roll with it as well. Today, first blank check NFL release of the entire season. Very first one goes today, and it's the biggest game on the card. It's your game between the Patriots and the Colts, the Sunday night showdown. And you are going to get it as the half-price play of the day simply by using coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. 5-2 with NFL blank checkers in 12 years, and during his tenure here as a charter member of the site. 8-3 with college football blank checkers last year, including Ohio State over Oregon in the title game, and this play is just as powerful. Again, the biggest game on the board, it's balls to the wall time, according to Matt Rivers, and it's the half-price play of the day as I continue to show you that you do not have to spend big money to make big money in this thing we do and love called gambling. Another featured play today would be that of Steve Budin's Cali Cartel. What a nice little roll they are on here. Thursday night, you got their 50-dime winner on Stanford easily over UCLA. Friday night, you got their road winner on Houston, crushing Tulane in New Orleans. Yesterday, you got their winner on TCU. You got all 3 of those plays, which were all 50-dime releases, for well over half price off. And they're on a 26-12 roll with 50-dime plays over the past 2 years. And they were his #1 football service, college and pro, a season ago. Today, they go for their 4th winner in 4 days, and it's their first 100-dime max wager release of the season, college or pro, interconference game of the year, San Francisco and Baltimore. You save $65 by using coupon code CALI. To just take it one step further, 31, 18, and 1 in football over the past 2 years combined, college and pro. They had a 50-dime play on the Patriots in the Super Bowl. This play is twice as strong. You save the money by using coupon code CALI. Now, let's talk about losers. Brad Wilton has been, without a doubt, the hottest handicapper at this site for over 3.5 weeks. He actually lost a play, though, however, yesterday. He lost his second ever 250-dime college football release of his career. Won the first one last Saturday, then followed up with his first ever in the NFL last Sunday with the Browns outright over Baltimore in overtime, but lost definitely on the wrong side of the Nevada-Wyoming game yesterday. And you know what, guys? The deal is this. Today, going into Sunday's card, he still won 18 of the past 24 days. And in that 24-day stretch, $10 bettors are still up $19,420. And over the past 101 days, those $10 bettors are still up $30,740. So over the past 3.5 to 4 weeks, he's won 5 straight 200-dime releases and 10 out of 11. He's gone 3-0 with 150-dime plays. He's hit 2 out of 3 250-dime plays. Hit a 50-dime play on Houston in college football on Friday night. And today, he has his 100-dime winner, number 10 out of 14, interconference game of the year, Kansas City, Minnesota. And you better believe, since you got every single one of those 11 200-dime plays, all 3 of those 250-dime plays, all of those 100-dime plays, all at huge discounted prices, you're going to do the same thing today, because one loss does not undo the phenomenal run this guy has been on for the past 3.5 to 4 weeks. So you can save $65 off the purchase price today by using coupon code 100DIMES, 100DIMES. And keep in mind, with 100 dime plays or higher, he's on a 28-8-1 roll. It's a phenomenal run. FYI, I'm going for winning day number 17 out of 23. I cashed in with Baylor yesterday. Thank you, Art Briles, for not calling off the troops too early in that game. I have my 50-dime football winner, which matches my normal top-rated play. 50-dime football winner, number 7 out of 8. I'm on the exact same side as Brad today. Now, I hope that's a good thing. Okay, let me get to the free selections. All your other promos, etc., are over on the homepage. Let's see. So let's start. I'll do these with the late games going, the late card coming up here first. Green Bay, San Diego. Short week, of course, for the Chargers, who weren't so successful when they had to leave the Pacific Coast time zone earlier this season, losing both at Cincinnati and at Minnesota. Short week after losing on the final play of that Monday night game against Pittsburgh. They're on a 3-13 ATS skid, 2-5 in their last 7 as a road dog, 2-7 the last 9 times they've been catching the points. It's a 10.5-point number here today. Obviously, we know why Green Bay is favored. And I can tell you that double-digit favorites so far this season are 2-1. First 2 won easily. The next one did not. This is an interesting spot. I still think the Packers are the way to go here, laying the 10.5 points. Yes, Philip Rivers is Philip Rivers, but he's been operating behind an injury-riddled offensive line that has been missing 1 to 3 starters each of the past 3 games. Well, you know who leads the NFC in sacks this season? Yeah, the Green Bay Packers with 20 sacks through 5 games. And you know who's number 2 in the NFL in terms of interceptions? Their secondary with 8. Now, speaking of interceptions, Aaron Rodgers actually had a phenomenal run, ended last week when he threw a couple of picks in the home win and cover. Well, guess what? He's still absolutely incredible at home. 50 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions in his last 20 home games. This is a great spot, I think, to ride the Packers because they're going into the bye week. They want to go into that bye week undefeated. They certainly have the opponent to do so. Short week, traveling cross time zones. Tough spot for the Chargers to be in. Packers also getting healthy in the ground game as Eddie Lacy is probably the healthiest he's been for at least 3 weeks or so. Packers 9-1-1 ATS roll as a home chalk. 21-11-1 in their last 33 games versus the odds makers when taking on AFC foes. And at Lambeau Field, 24-10-1 against the spread in their last 35. So again, they've won, every game so far this season. Why not ride them again in this spot? I'm going to take the Packers and go ahead and lay the 10.5 points. In baseball, I've often talked about the new manager theory. Well, something that I've noticed over the years, and it really stems from my years spent, 8 years or so as a reporter, that whenever you had a managerial or coaching change, it's an amazing atmosphere in the clubhouse right after the change. It's like a breath of fresh air has swept in. Because what happens is guys that were in the doghouse under the previous regime, they're suddenly set free. And the guys that had been playing and had lost faith in the management, well, the new regime comes in and everybody gets a fresh start. So generally in baseball, I love jumping on a team after a managerial change because within the first 1 to 3 games, you're going to get a couple of wins, and it's a great time to bet a team. I can't say the same thing happens in football, okay, because you have fewer games, you have a week period between games, but we've had our first change here in the NFL, and it involves the Miami Dolphins, who finally got rid of Joe Philbin. They brought in former tight end Dan Campbell to be their interim head coach. He brought in a new defensive coordinator because the last guy, I don't know, it's because of the lack of production, which they've gotten nothing from their defense this season, can't rush the quarterback, can't stop the run. I don't know if it was because simply the lack of production, because they're not good enough, or because they weren't listening. But anyway, new voices had to be heard in that Miami locker room, and they've got it. They've been idle since that debacle in London against the Jets. Now they're coming back home. They're taking on a Tennessee Titans team. Yes, the Dolphins are 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. Yes, they have a new coach, but I think they've got a ready-made opponent here because on paper, Miami is a better team than Tennessee, and they're far better than just the 2 points you're being asked to lay here. I think you're going to see an inspired, emotional effort from the Dolphins today, playing their best game of the season, and I think Miami is going to be the play here, and I'll go with my new coach theory now, as I will call it. One of the tougher games here on the board today is the Arizona-Pittsburgh contest. Now, Arizona, after beating the hell out of Detroit last week, decided to stay on the East Coast. They actually stayed at the Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia. I think the New Orleans Saints use that as their preseason training facility. So it's a hop, skip, and a jump to go over to Pittsburgh. It's like a half-hour flight from where they were. So they stayed acclimated on East Coast time. You know, this is a big game for Bruce Arians, who left under less than sterling circumstances, when he departed, as he was once the Steelers offensive coordinator, eventually landed in Indianapolis. And, of course, you know how that turned out, and it led to this job with Arizona. Cardinals this season, they have 1 loss. In that loss against St. Louis, they committed 3 turnovers. -3 in that game. They're +9 in the turnover margin department in all their other games, and they won them all. Carson Palmer, rejuvenated. I mean, I didn't really think that this guy would be able to come back so effectively from the knee injury he had at his age. But, Carson Palmer's 10-1 straight up in his last 11 starts, and the Arizona Cardinals have covered in 9 of those games. They're on an 11-3 ATS roll on the road, 190 points in 5 games. That's their best start in franchise history. Now, you have a Pittsburgh team that, yes, got the momentum-building win on Monday night on that final play, just 9 days after losing in overtime and blowing a 20-7 lead, losing 23-20 at home to the Ravens. What do you get with the Steelers? Ben Roethlisberger tried to practice this week. He's officially listed as doubtful, not expected to play, though, of course, today Michael Vick's going to be in there. Other than the final 2 series against the Chargers the other night, you didn't see Michael Vick do anything. Now, the key for the Steelers here today, obviously, they've got to be able to run the ball. The key for Arizona, they're going to have to sell out against the run and do everything they can to stop Bell and Williams. Now, the Arizona secondary is certainly up to the task if they're not getting a lot of support in terms of rushing the quarterback. And let's face it, the linebackers are going to have to play it straight. They're going to have a Mike guy out there looking for Vick, who didn't take off but one time, but you saw how deadly that 122-yard burst up the middle on that final possession was last Monday night for the Steelers. Now, for Arizona, they're going to attack a secondary that isn't the greatest for the Steelers, but Pittsburgh's been excellent in terms of getting a pass rush this year. So is Carson Palmer going to continue to get the ground support that he has received so far from a rejuvenated Chris Johnson, who looks like somebody took 3 years off his body clock, and Andre Ellington, who's now back being healthy and averaging about 63 yards rushing per game? Bottom line is the Cardinals are on a 21-5-1 ATS roll outside of the NFC West. Hey, if Ben Roethlisberger's playing, this line is different, and I'm all over on the Steelers. With Michael Vick, I'm sorry. I just don't like how the Steelers' offense is going to go. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm willing to go ahead and buy the half point down on Arizona from 3.5 to 3 and back the Cardinals in this contest. So, Arizona, Miami, and the Green Bay Packers are your 3 free selections for Sunday. I wish you well, guys, and we'll do this one more time on Monday night when we got that little game between the Giants and the Eagles. Good luck, everybody.